Hi everyone, Mr. Jonas here again. Uh, Today we are going to do a lesson, core lesson number 2 on peoples of the Northwest. Um, I'll pull up the page here so you guys can see. I've attached the reading, so just like I did last time. So if you want something you can follow along with, or if your parents want to see and take a look at it by itself the without me scrolling and moving around, that might be really helpful. So take a minute to print that off or download it and look at that. Core lesson number 2, peoples of the Northwest. We can start. We can take a look here. Let me move my thing out of the way here. Give me 1 second. We can take a look here at our lesson, and we see right here on our page that we have 3 vocab words that we're looking for today: surplus, potluck, and clan. And when we find those ideas, we're going to highlight them. So what I want you to do is, while you're watching the video, while you're listening to me read, I want you to think of one question that you're going to input in Google Classroom before next Tuesday. So I'm giving you all weekend to work on this. So just before next Tuesday, when we're going to do a lesson about this, take a minute and put in one question. We had a health lesson this week, and some of you guys actually started responding to each other's questions, and I thought that was really awesome, and I thought that was a really good idea. So if you get the chance to respond to your classmate, if you know an answer, feel free to do that. We're going to answer the questions in class, but it's always really helpful to see the conversation that you guys have outside of class. So don't feel like you don't need to do that. Make sure you're monitoring what other people are saying and what they're doing, and looking at their questions, paying attention to their questions. And if you know an answer because you pick something up while you're reading, feel free to do that. So build on what you know. So it says, can you think of a material that you can use in different ways? Plastic is one such material. It can be made into a bag or part of a computer or drinking cup. In a similar way, the Northwest Indians found many uses for firewood. The Pacific Northwest, main idea. American Indians of the Northwest coast learned to make the use of natural resources around them. The Pacific Northwest is a coastal area that stretches from Alaska to northern California. The region is bordered by mountains to the east and ocean to the west. The coastline has thousands of islands and bays. Thick forests cover much of the land. Several American Indian groups lived in this region when Europeans first came to North America. Many still live there today. People of the land. American Indians who lived in the Northwest around the year 1500 hunted and gathered everything they needed from the land and waters near them. Salmon from the rivers was an important resource. In the spring and summer, thousands of these fish filled the streams. During these months, the Indians caught so much surplus or extra salmon that they dried and ate it all year. There's our first vocab word. So we have surplus or extra salmon that they dried and ate it all year. So surplus means extra. Dried salmon was part of everyone's diet, but it was not their only food. Northwest Indians also ate shellfish, whales, and seals. In the forest, they gathered berries and fern roots and hunted geese, deer, elks, and bears. Wood was another important resource for the Northwest people. They carved cedar logs into canoes called dugouts. Dugouts were used to carry goods on trading trips along the seacoast and rivers. Some groups paddled out to sea in dugouts to hunt for whales. The Northwest Indians built large houses. Hold on 1 second. Houses using boards cut from cedar or spruce trees. They decorated the houses with carvings and paint. Skilled craftspeople also use cedar logs to make totem poles. Totem poles are tall poles that are carved and painted with human and animal figures. Northwest peoples often use totem poles to mark the entrance to their houses. The figures on a totem pole told the history of families who lived there. Families held potlatches to celebrate important events such as a marriage or the building of a house. So here's another one. A potlatch was a large feast that could last for several days. Sounds fun. At a potlatch, the host served large amounts of food and gave valuable gifts to the guests. At times, potlatches were like competitions. Families would try to give the largest and most expensive potlatch to show their wealth. Okay. The Tlingit. The Tlingit were one of the largest American Indian groups in the Pacific Northwest. Their way of life was similar to that of other Northwest people. They built their villages near the coast or rivers to make hunting and trading easier. The Tlingit also found many uses for trees. They even made clothing from bark because the Tlingit did not farm or herd animals. They did not have cotton or sheep's wool. Instead, people used shredded cedar bark to make skirts, capes, and raincoats. They also made rain hats out of cedar bark and spruce roots. Okay, so they made everything that they had from bark. I thought this was really interesting. So right here it says that during the winter, the Tlingit wore cedar bark blankets to keep warm and stayed indoors. So I was wondering what a cedar bark blanket looked like because for some reason, to me, it didn't sound that comfortable. A blanket made of tree bark. So I looked one up, and this is a picture of a woman wearing a cedar bark blanket, and it looks kind of like just like a normal blanket, like more like a rug maybe than a blanket. But I thought you guys might want to take a look at what that looks like, so I pulled that up. Okay. So the Tlingit divided themselves into clans. A clan is a group of related families. So that's our word there. So a clan is a group of related families. The Tlingit had strict rules about how clans should treat one another. For example, a clan might pay a fine if one of its members insulted someone from another clan. Several families from the same clan lived together. They put dividers in houses so that each family had its own area. People gathered around a fire in the center of the house to cook and talk. So here's a picture here, I thought this was interesting, of people trapping salmon. So the Tlingit set up a wooden fence across the stream to stop the salmon, and fish did not get spawned or swept by the current into traps on either side. So I found a video of something similar to this, and to kind of explain this, to give you a video. So it's just a short video, so I'm going to play it for you now. Oops. Okay, so if you see here, this guy built a wall, and here's a rock that's keeping the fish in. So the fish swims in, and then they get trapped, and you can catch it. And what the Indians would do is they would actually spear the fish. and they would do this on a much bigger scale. So this is just a small version of it, but it kind of works the same way. So I thought that was kind of neat for you to see and take a look at. So today, about 17,000 Tlingit live in southeastern Alaska. Most live in cities, but some stay in villages. Many Tlingit have jobs fishing or working in the forest cutting wood. Others are business owners, teachers, doctors, and lawyers. The Tlingits carry on many cultural traditions. They have kept their dances, songs, and stories. Their clans are still strong, and people often wear clan or family symbols on their jewelry or clothes. The potluck remains one of their most important traditions. It connects the modern Tlingit to their past. So, after watching, think of one question that you'd like to ask the class and type it in on the answer page in Google Classroom. We're trying to remember to review our 3 words: surplus, a potluck, and clan. So, thanks for listening. That's all I have for you today. I'm sorry, I tried to play the video, and I'm sorry if it didn't have audio. Oops. This is the first, still the second time I'm doing this, or second or third time I'm doing it. So just had to bear with me. And but take a minute, take a look at it, and I will talk to you. We will talk about this all on Tuesday. So have a great weekend. And I will talk to you, or we will pick up again next week. Core lesson number 3. Thank you.